Hello everyone and welcome to Woody Woodpecker Escape from Buzz Buzzard Park. This game is available on the PlayStation 2 and PC, and this is the demo, which is available solely on PC as far as I'm aware. A couple weeks, it must be more like 3 or 4 weeks ago at this point, my boyfriend played this game for me, and I was in shock at how terrible he was. That's not what this video is about. This video is about the game. So you collect these W's lying around, and when you get 25 of them, you either get an extra health bip, or you get an extra life if your health bips are full. The game has a very simple set of controls. Woody can jump, he can peck, and he can duck. But there's a little more to it than that. For example, he can charge his peck, which keeps it going for longer after you let go of the button, and he can attack while in the air, which homes in on the enemy with his peck, assuming you're directly above them. If you're not directly above them, it doesn't seem to home in to them. Now, based on how the game looked and accounts I've heard from other people and my boyfriend, I did not expect the game to control very well. In my experience from playing this demo, it controls great. Also, here's a platforming gimmick. We can peck our way up a wall. I assume this will be used for more complex things in the full game. I don't know. I have not played the full game. But yeah, based on my boyfriend's account and other people's accounts, I expected the game to control terribly. I think it controls great, and Woody actually has a surprisingly big jump. Like, it may not be getting across in the video, but it's a really big jump. You get a lot of distance with that thing. Now, the enemies are actually decently aggressive, but you can peck their projectiles out of the air, as you just saw. So even though the enemies are aggressive enough to actually deal damage to you, which is nice, I'm not gonna lie, I've played too many 3D platformers where the enemies aren't a threat. They actually seem to be a threat in this one. But you can also peck their projectiles out of the air, which is a nice touch. Maybe would have been good to have a little tutorial prompt for that, but this game seems light on tutorials. There's a little text that pops up sometimes telling you what to do, but like, for example, this rocket, it tells you how to ride the rocket. It doesn't tell you that you have to get off the rocket. If you don't get off the rocket, it explodes and you die. Yes, I've seen Toy Story. I know rockets explode. I don't know what I expected the rocket to do, but I've played plenty of video games where rockets don't explode and you instead of manually leaving them, you automatically leave them. But yeah, as you can see here, jumping's fine. Like, if the jumping weren't fine, I would not be able to move across these platforms as quickly as I am. The jumping control's great. It's a very high jump. You know, this is actually a great room to get people used to the jumping. I didn't think about it that way. It just seemed like a normal room to me, but that's probably what it's for. More interestingly, that bit about leaving the rocket manually, you actually have to put it to use here and leave the rocket at just the right time to land on the platform next to the rocket. That's actually a really nice use of that mechanic. I approve of that. I still wish it would have told you that you have to manually leave the rocket, because if you don't figure that out, you do explode and die with the rocket. And here's an enemy just by themselves. Don't know why. You figured there'd be more than one of them in that room. And now it's 2D. Sometimes there are 2D sections in this game. I don't know why. I didn't pay for this, but I assume if you paid for this, you're paying for a 3D platformer, not a 2D platformer. Get this out of here. This is ridiculous. That death's staying in. The amount of hubris that led to that death necessitates that it stay in the video, I think. Jokes aside, the bit with the 2D platforming in this demo is too short for me to make anything of it. Seems to control just fine. The jumping feels good, which is what's most important, I think, is that the jumping in this game feels good. That is probably why I would be interested in playing the full game. Now, I am playing with a keyboard, sadly, because the PC version doesn't seem to have gamepad oh, a cutscene. Anyway, this game, based on the demo and the one platforming level they provide in the demo, it seems fine. The jumping feels really good. It's really high. It's really precise. You have excellent control over where Woody goes. That's what's most important, I think. It seems like they have a great understanding of level design, especially for Eco Software. Eco Software is the developer of this game. They've made a lot of 3D platformers, especially by their standards. This game seems exceptional. There's a tally at the end of the levels, and depending on how well you did, you get money, and you can spend the money on a gambling machine, which gives you extra lives. I don't know if it gives you anything but extra lives. You can also save in this demo. I don't know why you can save. Maybe if you failed to 100% the first level, but after you save, then you get the second level, which actually isn't the real second level. Instead, it's a hoverboarding segment. This is just a weird trial and error hoverboarding segment from, I assume, later in the game. It seems to be the case that how this game works is you play as Woody, and then after you're done playing as Woody, you play as Knothead and Splinter, and they have their own levels, and this is one of their levels. So I guess they wanted to give you some reasonable sample size of various levels in the game, because this hoverboard level is not the real second level at all. But yes, especially by Eco Software standards, I think this platformer seems fine. Control's good. The level design is basic, but they placed the W's and hazards in interesting places. Even if the visual design is unremarkable, it just feels good to play, feels good to traverse the environment, and I think that's plenty, honestly. It also doesn't seem like a long game, so, you know, maybe this would be fun to play sometime. This demo had the intended effect, even if it had the intended effect several years after the demo and game were published. Now, as for the hoverboarding segment, I guess it's okay. It seems pretty deliberately trial and error, and I had more fun playing the Solar Sailor sections in the Treasure Planet PS1 game, honestly. That was more enjoyable than this, but they're not terrible so far. Like, this one isn't awful. It still seems like a weird note to end the demo on. Like, I considered not even showing this section and just stopping the demo after the platforming level, but you have to do this level to get the credits of the demo and see the misspellings in the credits of the demo, and I really wanted you to see the misspellings in the credits of the demo, so here we are doing this. You know, my boyfriend did play this on the PS2. Maybe the PS2 version controls differently than the PC version. It seems like a gamepad would only improve the control, because it controls fine with a keyboard, and I prefer gamepad for 3D movement personally. So, I don't know, but maybe that was kind of weird. Maybe they goofed something up in the translation to PS2.